But Naomi right now is going to lead us in this wonderful tribute to our Bill Johnson. There you go.
Thank you, dear
Naomi.
Deb, and congratulations on a fabulous year.
Thank you.
Fabulous year.
Thank you.
Woo, a round of applause and a standing ovation.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I love the word influence. And I love the two words, Bill Johnson. If you knew Bill Johnson, I want you to stand up. Beautiful. If you were personally influenced by Bill Johnson, I want you to stay standing. Whoa. If you think in one sentence you could share why you were influenced by Bill Johnson, just one sentence, I want you to stay standing. Why?
He was very caring and very committed and a sweet man.
He always had useful feedback.
Very committed to this organization.
Mentorship and attention to detail.
He just loved all of us, and I could never figure out why.
He had a bigger vision for me than I had for myself.
Bill Johnson was NSA.
Every time I bought something from Bill, he gave me something extra.
He believed in our success more than we believed it in ourselves in the beginning.
He was living history, and he knew where all the bodies were buried.
Give yourself a round of applause. Well done, well done. Well, I met Bill Johnson. He came roaring into my life in 1976. He was preparing a meeting in Hawaii, in Maui, one of my favorite places, and he wanted me to speak for his meeting. So I said yes. And we went to Maui, and I spoke on a very special gift. And I had a box wrapped and bowed on the lectern, and he liked the speech. And he said, you know, I have some friends, and I want you to speak for them. It's a brand new group. It's called the National Speakers Association. There'll be about 200 of them. They don't pay anything, but it'll be at the Biltmore Hotel in Phoenix, Arizona, and you live across the street. Come and speak for my friends. I think I was the first woman keynoter. That was interesting. And I had the box wrapped and bowed, and I came into that room, and there was so much spirit there. And there was a man sitting right in the center with white hair, almost white. His name was Coveted Robert, with a Southern belle sitting next to him. Came up to me afterwards, and he said that was the best speech I've ever heard in my entire life. Had no idea who he was, and didn't know he said that to absolutely everybody. And Bill Johnson introduced me to the academy of all academies, the graduate school of all graduate schools of professional speakers. He introduced me to some of my closest and dearest lifetime friends, many of them who are in this room. He introduced me to leadership roles I had no idea I would ever accept. And while he was motivating me, he was racing ahead of me to motivate you and to teach you about the miracle of the platform, the privilege of that platform. I saw him emotional only a couple times, because when someone's in a hurry, it's hard to be emotional. He was always racing wherever he went, but I heard him and saw him be emotional when he told the story of being assigned the privilege of finding the artist and creating the Coveted Award. The Coveted statue, which you must look at every time you walk in and out of this building. He was so proud of it. And even more proud of it, he was proud of the spirit that it represented. I saw him emotional another time. 6 years ago, I had a massive stroke, and I was paralyzed. It was on the way to a speaking engagement, and not a really good idea. The bureaus would not approve because I didn't get to the speaking engagement. I was in the hospital in Traverse City for 30 days, and then I came home in the wheelchair, and I was paralyzed partially, and I couldn't see, and my eyes were over here. And about 6 weeks later, the doorbell rang, and Bill Johnson came in. He hurried in till I got to the family room, and then he saw me. He sat down on the hearth, and he started to sob. Bill Johnson sobbed over me. And I knew that I was not just a professional colleague, that we'd become close and dear friends, which happens so often in this association. It was an amazing, amazing moment. I'm sure you remember that the astronauts went to the moon once upon a time. They walked on the moon. They lumbered off that spacecraft, and Neil Armstrong said, one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. But perhaps you don't know that their footprints are still there. There's no atmosphere on the moon. No rain, no wind. So their footprints are still there. And so are Bill Johnson's footprints. You heard them, and I went down just one aisle, and there are 3 or 4 aisles here. And I heard one sentence after another of footprints on the moons of our lives. Bill Johnson, did I mention he was always in a hurry? I can picture him in a hurry from the lunchroom back into the meeting room. And he was in a hurry the day he had his massive heart attack at 4 in the afternoon. He went to the Speakers Academy in the morning and did a little speech, and I guess Don Thorne, you had to pull him off because he got a little bit long-winded. And he went home and had that massive stroke. He died a few days later, but I know he hurried to heaven. I know the gate was open. I know the platform was prepared. I know that all of his buddies were there, and Coveted was in the front row center. But I also know that Bill Johnson did not stand on that platform proudly. But like Zig Ziglar used to do, he fell on his knees to worship his Lord. And those of us that believe that way know that we will see him again someday. We will see him again someday. And he'll be waiting for us, probably at the gate, probably to market us to someone somewhere in heaven. And he will be surrounded by other of our speaker friends, because that's who he was. Bill Johnson, I will miss you greatly. Some of us are going to come sooner than others, but when we come, we will embrace and we will remember all the amazing footprints that you left on our lives. I will miss you. Your legacy lives. Bill Johnson. Thank you.